Good morning. It is 10:18 a.m. It is December 26th. Yesterday I thought it was Sunday. I'm so off. I knew it was Christmas, but I don't know. I just thought it was Sunday. But anyway, apparently today is Tuesday. So happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you guys had a really good Christmas, and I hope that your kids are playing with their toys and enjoying, the little gifts that you guys got them and stuff. That's just such an exciting time. Apparently, according to the song, there's like 12 days of Christmas. So I believe the Christmas season ends on January 6th. So, I remember when I was growing up in my family, my ex family, we would make sure that the Christmas decorations were taken down before, like by the 6th. I know some people keep them up late, a little bit later than that. Nothing wrong with that. I think some people just want that Christmas spirit to linger. Anyway, so I did have some intuitive messages, and what I'm going to be doing in the next few, I don't know, until things start picking up for me, I'm just going to be doing intuitive readings, messages that I've been getting sporadically, because there really isn't a whole lot for me to do. Of course, I want to work on content, but a lot's going on with my Patreon account. I tried working on it today, and I'm not even able to post any videos. I'm not able to update any information. It literally is driving me crazy, this whole issue. I know that I mentioned this before. I'm not going to go too much into it. But I had like quite a few intuitive messages. I got up like around, I don't know what time it was. I got up like around 5 o'clock this morning. And, I kind of puttered around. Then I kind of laid back down. And then I decided, hey, just get up. I'm not even dressed yet. But I do need to go out and get a couple things from the store. And I really don't feel like it. It's just like when you have been a victim of gang stalking or whatever, you don't like going outside. But I love being outdoors, you know what I mean? But it's just like, man, I wish this never happened. I really wish this never happened. But anyway, let me get into the intuitive messages. I got quite a few. The first one was, it blew people away that I discovered that I was Prince Alamahu. Apparently, like I said, it was kind of stupid on their part who were targeting me to let everybody know that I was a clone, all right? And that was kind of dumb. If you're going to do something top secret, you don't release it to the public. I don't know. It's crazy, but anyway. But they're impressed by the fact that I came to understand it and all on my own. And it is weird that I figured that out, because while I was meditating, that person, that picture of that little boy that I saw in that article months ago popped into my head, and I started meditating on it. I'm like, oh, this is some creepy shit. It is weird, but you know what, when you're dealing with, the supernatural and somebody who's psychic like me, eventually I was going to find out, but it is quite amazing. Also, it's time for me to come out of isolation. And, I've made videos about, being blocked on social media. Pretty much, in order to be social these days, you have to have social media. You have to have your social media free of any obstruction, any bullshit. And, it gets really frustrating when you're dealing with skewed numbers, or you're being blocked, or your Facebook friends are really spies, or just whatever. It's very difficult. And I think that my social media has been tampered with. I'm going to say at least going back to 2015, because I know in 2008 or 9, when I had my first YouTube channel, I was thriving, and I was doing well. And I think the reason why is because, um, you know, I don't know why. I don't know why. It seemed like it was doing really well, and then all of a sudden, I started dropping off in numbers. I think this is when people were just starting to like just get outright bloodthirsty, and I started losing numbers. And then, of course, things were going on in my workplace, and I was getting targeted like heavily. So, but my social media has been tampered with for quite a long time. And this is one of the reasons why I'm frustrated with the Patreon issue. So it's like, well, I need to live my life, and obviously it's very frustrating for me to make any changes or do anything when I'm being blocked. But it is time for me to come out of isolation. But, I think most people right now, after the pandemic, are kind of isolated. There's not what you call like any real social activity going on. People might visit their friends here and there, but most people are just basically kind of off to themselves, and I really never, since I would say the 1990s, I really haven't been like the kind of person that has a lot of friends over at my house or anything. I wish, I did have a social life. Like if I had like a really close friend or something that I could do things with, I would definitely love that. But it's hard because after you've been smeared, people are going to have their own special reasons as to why they want to be your friend. Obviously, no one can say the negative things about me because they're been proven to be false. But at the same time, some people just want to be around you because, you were once a high profile person or whatever. And it's just really hard to deal with people when you question their sincerity. So this is one of the sad parts about being gang stalked, which I warned, I'm going to say these pathological weirdos that were like targeting me. This includes I believe the people, the head honcho that I mentioned that I will not go into, was influencing my family, and then my brother, my ex-brother Sean and Tanya, were playing a pretty active role in sniffing me out or squashing me out, along with a couple of other people. Um, so they really, they affected my life. It is their responsibility. I believe, I don't know if my family, these two family members, my adopted family, I don't know if they're still alive or not. I don't really focus on them. I've been told in my mind not to focus on them because they're not good people. And besides, it's like I'm tired of being angry all the time. But I do know that whoever blocked me, whoever spread these rumors, whoever affected my life, it's their responsibility to clear it up. Because, it's a disadvantage to me to, deal with multiple workplace mobbings. It's not comfortable for me to work in a workplace setting, a 9 to 5 workplace setting. I will never trust another employer again. So, the only route that I have is to make money online and to make an income online. That's just how it is. And my only social life would be kind of reduced to an online type friendship. So I don't know, but if I open new social accounts, media accounts, I've opened so many. My first one, like I said, was Dark Desert Moon back in 2008 or 2009, somewhere around there. And then that declined because of that. And I ended up just like canceling out my account. I mean, because obviously this is the weird part. Okay, I was losing the weird mind control about this because most of the people that I was associating with on YouTube on my first channel were people who were considered alternative type thinking like myself. Okay, there were some people that I was associating with that were considered Wiccans. Some people were what do you call it? Maybe practicing Santeria. I was talking to just different kinds of people, but they were all associated with some form of metaphysical study, right? And so, obviously, and I was associating with a lot of white people, and I was associating with a lot of black people too. So, what exactly, I don't know what rumor they used to get people to, act like assholes towards me, but it's just really weird. Or maybe they started targeting some of these people. I don't know. I don't know what was going on at that time because obviously if I was operating and doing my videos within what they call a pagan community. The pagan community would be people who, like myself, people who look into their ancestral background and they want to incorporate a lot of those different type of practices into their life. Okay, and there's a lot of pagan revivals, a lot of people who come from like maybe like German people, they may want to go back and start incorporating, the Germanic paganism into their life, the old practices, the old ways, okay? And then there's a lot of people who come from African descent who want to go back to their old ways, and they're incorporating. The thing is about these new, what they call pagan type revivals, is that most of our histories throughout the world, okay, in different cultures, have been kind of obliterated. You know what I mean? So it was based on like most of it was based on verbal type of you call it history. A lot of the histories weren't really written, but there's evidence or proof of their deities existing. Like there might be like carvings and stuff like that. But the actual rituals that they, performed, a lot of that is gone. right? So, you know, a lot of pagan people get together from different restaurants, and they talk, and they, you know, discuss different methods and stuff like that. So these new revivals are based on the old ways, but they're incorporating a lot of new. And this is what I was a part of in 2008, and this might be the reason why it was targeted. But it seems crazy to target me and then have being ostracized from my own community when this was like a so-called Christian type smear campaign. Very strange. I do not understand it. So I'm assuming there was other things. Oh, okay. Maybe they were using the issue that I told my husband, my ex-husband, that I was half white. I don't know what they did. Okay, what they did to create this issue about, you know, or maybe they found out that I was related to a celebrity and they may have gotten jealous or something. I don't know. Okay, but at that time I was kind of in the dark as to what was really going on. I just knew there was a bunch of negativity surrounding me. I didn't know exactly what I was being targeted for. But anyway, back to that. I am definitely doing what I can to come out of isolation. And by me, the only thing I can do is basically say, hey, could you stop messing with my social media? Can I please have more freedom in my social media? I have to sit here and like make that statement, because otherwise these people never really, they just do a lot of willy-nilly type shit. You know what I mean? Like when I first got gang stalked, I told them in the video why this is bad, what is going to be the end result. You know, because I really do believe, because of the Joseph Mengele thing, that their intent was to try to kill me. You know what I mean? But still, you know, there's people, I don't want to go into it, but it's like, it's just wicked. Wicked. Anyway, my soul tribe doesn't want to be identified on Patreon. Okay, that's the other intuitive message. But I got that message and I already made a comment about that. No, they don't want to be identified on Patreon, but, you know, I wish that this issue would get resolved as soon as possible. I don't know if that's what's causing the maybe there may be some sort of configuration going on with my Patreon account that's preventing me from posting videos. It's preventing me from updating payment information or anything like that. So, and I understand, you know, if this is the case, if people are working on my Patreon account, these things take time. You know what I mean? But like I said, you know, I had mentioned before in September that I wanted to do a Patreon account. Like I already said that, and in October I actually did it. So, you know, the problem of it is that when these people are associated with you, and I know that Teresa was associated, was a part of this, my brother, my sister Tanya, and a bunch of other people that were involved in this smear campaign and this like sabotaging of my life. So, you know, all these people who did this, if you're still alive, you know, this is what you need to do. It's your problem to fix. It's your problem to fix. Okay. Anyway, the person that I mentioned in my other videos, that I wanted to get in contact with, the other clone, and I think it's really important for me not to just start calling out names, but, you know, I will eventually communicate with this person, but apparently from the message that I got in my mind this morning, this person wants to be in communication with me. So I'm not going to be communicating with her right away, because right now my only focus is to make money. That's what I need to do. I can't do anything without the next step. You know what I mean? And so once things get picked up, then I will contact this person. I know there was a person who contacted me just recently, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he was an old childhood friend who lived around the corner from me, and I really had all the intentions to contact him back. The only problem with that is that I experienced some problem with a little bit of flooding in my kitchen, so I had to, you know, address that issue, and I didn't get a chance to contact him back. So it's not that I don't want to, you know, there's certain people I do want to talk to, but I'm the kind of person, what's going on with my life right now, I'm really not in a talkative mood. I'm in a very grouchy mood. And I really want to be able to have pleasant conversations. And I shut down. Like, when things go wrong, I am completely, I don't want to talk to anybody. Okay, that's just how I am. That's how I deal with it. Maybe because it comes out in my communication. I'm just not someone who wants to communicate right now. But I'm glad that this person wants to connect with me. Also, people are appreciative. I get these intuitive messages, is that people were appreciative of me explaining the benefits of marijuana. Now, I am not in any way promoting marijuana use, and I am going to be doing a more detailed video on the use of, um, you know, things like uh, marijuana, things like mushrooms, things like, you know, psychedelics, I guess. Not, well, I wouldn't put marijuana in the category of psychedelics. I think they're considered entheogens. Um, is what they're considered, but I will be doing a video on that, the history, the different cultures. I know it's been used in China, it's been used in Egypt, people in Israel used it. I mean, it's been used everywhere. And I am in any way trying to glorify the use of these sort of substances. I know that people compare alcohol with marijuana all the time. And, you know, like for example, somebody can smoke marijuana and they can get up and go to work just fine. But there's a lot of people who can get intoxicated with alcohol and they're hungover and it affects them. You know, there's some people who do these little comparisons, you know, and like I said, you know, it's your life. Be responsible. If you know you're somebody who has an addictive personality, then stay away from it, okay? But what I'm trying to do is open people's mind to understanding that not when I think of like stoner movies, the first person that comes to my mind is The Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like, I think his name was Spicoli, right? He's kind of like an idolized character in the movie from a teenage perspective, or somebody who's like, I would say in their early 20s, that age group. He's considered a hero, okay? And in some ways he kind of is, because he's a cool character, right? But in the adult world, where you have to function and take on responsibilities, those are things that a lot of people can identify with the Spicoli character, because they themselves were that at one time, and they're fearful of becoming that as an adult. And nobody wants to be irresponsible. Nobody wants to blow things off. Nobody wants to be that high all the time. So it's about, you know, and I think when people talk about marijuana use, they think, man, you must be immature. You must be sitting around watching Beavis and Butthead all day, or something like that. You know, it has this negative connotation to it, or not stereotype, but it does have a negative. When people bring that word up, people immediately think of slothfulness, laziness, not being productive, you know, just somebody, or even rebellion or whatever. But that's not necessarily the case. There is a religious purpose for the use of marijuana and other substances that grow from the earth, okay? And like I said, you know, on the video that I did produce, I did get flagged by YouTube. But I did, in the configuration, I did say this is for people who are over the age of 18, and I'm very mindful of that. Apparently, I'm not the only person who has produced videos discussing this topic. And, yeah, some people have, I remember there was this dude who, on YouTube, who was dropping some acid. And he let people, you know, people watch his videos. I don't think they have an issue with it, but I do think they want you to identify these videos. And what I will be doing for this particular video that I'm going to be making, I'm going to say, you know, warning, this is in the video. I'm going to actually do it, okay? Because, you know, I understand kids should not be exposed to that sort of stuff, and they have to adhere to the rules of their parents and whatever. Understandable. It's like, I fully get it. You know, and I want to be mindful of that. Also, the people in my community are starting to appreciate me more, and I'm very grateful for that. I didn't think that was ever going to happen, mainly because of the racial issue. I know that Bakersfield has had issues with racism in the past, and, you know, I am in no way I've never tried to change this community in any way, but I think people are opening up their eyes to this issue that happened. And I noticed that it's been like that when I go onto town. My interactions with like cashiers and stuff has been a lot better, okay? And when it comes, like if I'm dealing with customer service calls and stuff, I seem to get a little bit more accommodation and stuff and I appreciate that, okay? You know, like I said, I originally moved down here because the cost of living was cheap, and, you know, I just tried to make the best, use of my experience here. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, really, I don't really want to stay in the community, mainly because a lot of traumatizing things happened in this community while I was in this community. And mind you, since I was targeted, I believe that I would have been targeted in any community that I was living in. So it's nothing personal with Bakersfield at this point. It's not because I want to leave Bakersfield, because I feel like I don't like the people. Okay. This community certainly does have an interesting history. I'm talking about, the whole thing about Buck Owens and stuff like that. That's interesting to me, right? But, it's just the fact that, I experienced so much negativity while I was here. And I really want to move on from that. Like, I want to do different things, and I want a change of scenery, and I want to travel. And, because this is part of my life where I'm getting closer towards, I'm not saying I'm dying right now, but I'm saying is I'm getting closer towards the end of my life. Meaning, like, all the big events that you're supposed to, or you look forward to do in life, pretty much I was deprived of because of these wicked people. Okay? And so these later years of my life, I want to see more, do more before I pass on. And this is why, I think that my Swan Song Manifesto is so important to me, Anyway, apparently, the whole thing about, I think the whole thing about my existence, okay, is the fact that I am not only just the reincarnation clone of Prince Alemehu, is the fact that my blood comes from Egypt, and a lot of people believe that my race comes from the stars, meaning it comes from a different, I don't know, galaxy, dimension, all right? But surprise, surprise, I believe that this is the original origin of everyone. Everybody comes from a different galaxy or dimension, or everybody does. And this is one of the reasons why I did the video, The Gods. And I will be doing a follow-up on that, which I'm not going to put that one on Patreon, but I will be putting it on YouTube in the future. That is for the future of my YouTube plans, okay? Because it's interesting, and there's actual proof of this sort of thing. So it's something that I think people would enjoy. Anyway, I don't want to be looked at as somebody who attacked Christianity. That's another message that I got. I know that Christianity has been in decline for a very long time, and I can't take responsibility for that. The reason why is because I was targeted by a group who was trying to force that on me, and in me defending myself, other people might have heard this, but I do know that a lot of people have always complained about the hypocrisy, not based on Jesus himself, but the hypocrisy that goes on in a lot of churches, okay? Like I said, when you acknowledge like, for example, the child molestations, okay, that go on in certain churches, the fact that, they mistreat a lot of women in churches, these sort of injustices that go on, if somebody was to, verbalize that and say it and stand up to it, then, oh, you're attacking Christianity. That is not the same thing. You are attacking the clergy member who is supposed to be responsible, or whose responsibility is to represent the church in a way where they're supposed to be to not bring reproach on the name of God. But this is what they do. Okay, by acknowledging that is in no way disrespecting Jesus. It is not by doing that. Okay, but I know that I know I've seen articles about Christianity being in decline, but I'm not responsible for that. You know what I mean? And if I got into some sort of religious quote unquote war, I'm not the one who started it. Also, the other intuitive message that I got was that Tanya knew that the people, the head honcho who initiated all this, she knew exactly who they were, but she was hungry for power. Okay? And I think that my sister Tanya was trying to pretend to be me or be like me. Apparently, from my intuitive message, that my ex-sister Tanya had some psychic power. Now she probably inherited that psychic power from my adoptive father, who I love very much, James Gordon, because I believe Tanya was his blood relation, his biological child. So she wanted to kind of step in for me. you know, everyone in my life has pretty much been a piece of shit, which I pretty much have already communicated that. And the main head honcho gets the idea, I mean, gets the message that he's an asshole, and you are indeed a fucking asshole. Anyway, also the message that I got is that people are thanking me and crediting me for waking them up to the corruption. I appreciate people acknowledging that. You know, be careful. You got to watch your back. And I want to tell you, I'm going to tell you, prayer is essential to get by in this life. You have to be connected. I don't care what God or deity that you choose to worship or acknowledge, but you have to have some sort of strong faith and foundation. Even if the strong faith and foundation is within yourself, you have to have some sort of belief to continue on in this world. I will tell you, this world is fucking wicked. Anyway, also another message I got was that that people see that I am not evil. That if this whole program was upside down, I do appreciate that. That's another reason why I need to come out of isolation, because you know the thing is that I've always been a polite person. And so, like for example, when I would start a new job or whatever, you know, I would get harassed by these people. And you know, the thing is, it never mattered that I was polite. It never mattered if they wanted me to do a work assignment and it was done for them. It never mattered if I had asked if they needed assistance. It never, no matter what I did to get along, I was never meant to get along with these people. These people were always dead set against me because they were listening to rumors and they were under this impression that I was some sort of antichrist. And the fact that I was dealing with a lot of racism. So the platform was not fair to begin with. Anyway, also people were looking and regarding me as a leader. And that was not my intention. You know, I just wanted to do videos on YouTube and talk about my passion for the occult. That was my only thing. But some people are looking at me as a leader of a spiritual revival and awakening for many people. If that's how you see me, that's cool. That's very cool, you know, and I appreciate your support. Thank you. And another message I got is that I am a huge topic. People are talking about me everywhere. The last message I got was about one of my last employer, and they're fearful that I'm going to discuss and like open up the hypocrisy that I had to deal with at that company. I would say that I was targeted in the company a lot, and you know the thing is, what I resent about it is that I had mentioned this to my last employer. Okay, I was very serious about my fear. I didn't know exactly that I was being targeted by this big head honcho. That I was at the time. I had no idea I was a clone, none whatsoever. But she did. Okay, and I don't know if she understood what the full scope or the intention was, or the motive behind it. Because, like I said, there is a pyramid. Here's the head honcho here person at the top. He's wicked as fuck, and then it goes downward, right? It goes down to other levels, right? But when I would address my frustration about something, an issue, whatever, you know, I remember when they were talking about bringing in uniforms. I'm not going to mention names in this, but this pissed me off, and I lost trust and faith in this person. Okay, but they were talking about bringing in uniforms, so I had a discussion with her. I don't want to wear a uniform because I already sensed that there was some sort of bullying shit going on. So I said, you know, I don't want to wear a uniform. And you know what she said? You are fine. You always dress well. You are doing this, whatever. And the next thing you know, I made a video and they didn't like it. The people head honcho asshole didn't like it, or whoever didn't like it. So guess what happened? The next few weeks or something, I was notified by her husband of the company that we're going to be starting to wear uniforms. Why? Why? Okay, when you really look at the situation, I am in a program that is meant to kill me. I already said that I didn't feel comfortable with what was going on. And then the person that I promoted to the office manager turns around and is like, oh yeah, we're going to get uniforms, you know, kind of being, you know, throwing it in my face. I don't need your bullshit. Okay? I don't need your bullshit. So I'm not going to mention any names, and I would like to move on from this, but yes, I am very angry about what happened. Very angry. So I'm trying to move on from it. But if you now understand, and I think you understand the full scope of what this program is now. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I was concerned. I didn't need to be reprimanded. I don't need to sit here and be humbled. I don't need to play a competitive game. And I also do believe that she was my boss for some sort of racist competition that I didn't fucking want to play. You know what I mean? I am not somebody who cares about somebody being prettier than me. I acknowledged her beauty from the fucking day one. Okay, I was like delighted to work for somebody that I didn't feel like needed to compete with me. You know, and it's just like, I'm not, it's just whatever. Move on. But that was the message that floated in my mind. And I'm not going to say anything else about it, but this is where you're in the wrong. Okay? And this is where a lot of the employers are in the wrong. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you got to understand, I go through so much frustration and so much anger because of this issue. You know? Anyway, I think that's all the intuitive messages that I have today. You know, I want to continue on with Patreon. I have videos that I want to upload. I have things I need to do. I want to move on with my life. That's more important to me than anything. I want to move out of this community and forget the trauma and just see what goes on with my life. I hope you guys continue to support me. I'm going to be back with another video shortly. Thank you. Bye-bye.